Yo, welcome back to the video. What is up everyone, Tom here, back with another YouTube video, but this time it's different. We're doing our first proper podcast. As you can tell, I'm not doing the podcast here. It is currently snowing out of the heavens here at my house and all over Ireland.
Come on, Cathy!
What is going on?
The beast from the east is coming, Cathy!
If you haven't been living over a rock for the past couple of days, you would have known that this whole storm Emma, the beast from the east, has been taking over the country. Sliced pans have been coming out of Tesco. UCD has been covered in snow.
Today's bread today.
And I've been posting ridiculous photos on Instagram and Twitter.
I saw your advertisement on Dundale. I was just wondering, is it still available? Is it what?
But that has not stopped me from putting an intro clip to the beginning of this podcast, which is going to be called The Video Life. The clip that you're about to watch was recorded over a week ago by myself, Michael and Jake. It was the first attempt at putting together a proper structure for the podcast. I'd done a test one before with Michael when we had done that video where I proposed to a fan in UCD. But I needed a bit of time to go away and think about what structure I wanted on the podcast, what guests we would have talking in it, the length of it, how it was going to be filmed, all of that jazz. So it's very much in an experimental period at the moment, but I have a few things that I can tell you. Number one, it's going to be called The Video Life. What it's going to revolve around is freelance videography and everything to do with what I would deal with on a day-to-day basis. I'm making videos every single day of the week, so is Jake, so is Michael, and that's the stuff that we're passionate about. I think that the most difficult thing when it comes to starting a podcast is figuring out what you want to talk about, because it's easy to talk about general shit that's just floating around the internet. But how could you do something for a long period of time? I think you need to stick to stuff that you're living and breathing and stuff that you feel you get a fire in your belly when you're talking about it. We're going to be recording it every other week, so it'll come up every 2 weeks. And for the moment, it's just going to be myself, Jake and Michael talking, because we meet up for lunch quite often and we'll have these conversations. So we thought it would be a waste, why not film it and then just put it out online for people to enjoy. That's enough talking from me. If you want to learn what I think could be improved and how we're going to move these podcasts in the future, you can hop onto the clip at the end. But other than that, sit back, relax, and enjoy the very first podcast.
I said I enjoy doing it as well. It's sort of fun.
What was the first time you picked up a camera? Like, where did that come from? Did someone in your house have a camera, or?
That was when I was like 13. After we came to, I was over in France and I watched a lot of YouTube videos. And I came back and I was like, oh, I want to make a funny, entertaining YouTube video. So I did something around Justin Bieber. And Dad was like, this is horrendous, you can't put it online. But I have felt this urge to like put it online.
You were inspired then by YouTube and stuff, other people?
Yeah, I was also like, oh, I want to do something. Not that I thought I could do it better, but I was like, this is fun. So then I started making these cricket videos because I really liked them. And there was actually a good niche for it because like nobody made tutorial videos. So I'd literally go into Wikipedia to figure out, because I used to play cricket. I'd figure out what the video would be about based on. Now looking back, it's very basic. Is it inbound or inbound marketing? You like you make a video based on a topic. So like Scott Herman Fitness is telling you 5 tips to help your bench press. I was just telling you how to bowl off spin. Yeah, same game, different industry. So
different paychecks.
Different paychecks. Yeah, I wasn't getting paid very much, but that was like a really cool experience, and I think it was like the first experience of building my own business in some respect, because you're answering comments. At that time, I would like, messaging on YouTube was a big thing, so I used to like go through that inbox quite often. I'd be like updating stuff. You used to post stuff to your like wall on your channel. You don't do that anymore. But that whole like sort of customer service aspect and stuff like that, I think that has all translated to what I do today. It's the same game, like I'm just an older person, so whole podcast. But
Jake, what was the first gig that you got paid for freelance? It's a very liberating feeling the first time you get paid for something that you're passionate about, something that you enjoy doing.
Yeah, it is. But I actually found it incredibly stressful.
Really?
Because it was the first time. I didn't know what was going on, what I was supposed to do. Yeah. It's so weird looking back at it now. You have so much more of an understanding of what you need to have to get a video out. But there's this weird thing you can't see through when you're shooting the video. You're like, how much of this do I need to have a video? And like there was people giving talks and I was recording like an hour of the talk. I had like 4 hours of talking and I ended up using like probably 20 seconds of it. Yeah. And it's just really stressful when you don't. It's just experience, I guess. But yeah, it's really fun. Yeah, it's amazing.
It is.
What about you, Fitz?
The first gig I got paid for, it was that Hagen's off-license promo that I made.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, after they saw the... Also filmed entirely on my phone. I know you spoke a little bit earlier about once you get to a point where you've got so much equipment that you can begin to charge a high price for. I've recently, only very recently, come into that bracket. But that was made entirely on my phone and fucking lutted the shit out of it.
Yeah, it was so teal and orange, I remember.
Yeah,
it was
so
mad.
teal and orange. I don't even know if I had the LUT up to 100%. And for any listeners or viewers who don't know what a LUT is, it's a lookup table. Basically applies colours to already existing
It's a filter.
colours. It's a filter.
Yeah.
It's
It's like
the
an Instagram filter. They are
Yeah.
literally LUTs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think your man, do you have that Color Finale plugin?
Yeah, oh my god.
He is the guy that sold those filters to Instagram.
No way.
Whatever his name is, Denver Riddle. Swear to God.
He made bank, I presume.
Yeah, probably. Well, they probably weren't that big either. Maybe it was a contract. I don't know.
My fucking
Not sure of the logistics
God.
of it. Yeah.
These are the new Instagram filters or the old ones? Or?
The original ones.
Yeah.
Like the whatever they're called, Juno or something. I don't know.
Valencia.
Yeah. that
X
kind of
Pro
stuff.
2.
Yeah, those ones.
Yeah.
Yeah. Osiris.
Brooklyn.
So we've talked about how we got into it.
Yes.
First paying gigs.
Yes.
What, like, for people who are listening who are freelancers, I think it might be interesting if we talk about, like, how do you get jobs? Because I know when I was starting out, I was completely, like, flabbergasted. Because I'm not really, like, a out there, go meet people kind of guy. And I was just like, how does this work? Is there a website I go to, or do people call me, or...
Yeah.
So that could be interesting.
There's, from what I've seen, there's so many ways of getting gigs. Now, Tom, you've been doing the sponsored video of your showreel.
That, yeah. Like the biggest takeaway I have from this is that internet marketing, like, not that it doesn't work. Word of mouth is like
word of mouth by far
20 billion times more.
Yeah.
Like, I could talk shit about, put money into Facebook ads and stuff, but I've got no conversions from it. I put €50 into Google AdWords the first month I had my website. 10 people email contacted me.
That's decent though.
No,
I think.
because there was no conversions at the end of it. That's the point. So if I get one conversion for a €500 video, I've made my ROI. But I haven't, because if you're just finding someone through the internet, the lowest common denominator is going to be price, in my opinion, unless you know who I am. And so the power of word of mouth is that personal recommendation supersedes price.
Yeah.
And that's the whole game we're in. Like, we're not in the game of, like, supplying you the cheapest scallion in Tesco.
No.
And if you play that game,
That's
you're
a dangerous game to get.
You get completely fucked over.
Get into a price war.
Yeah.
You know what they say? The only person that wins in a price war is the customer.
There you go. And it has to be a win-win for us. It can't be like a win-lose or lose-lose. So
Google AdWords is so bad, I think, for us.
Really?
Like, yeah, I tried it for a while as well, and absolutely nothing.
Yeah.
Like, nothing.
Like, well, I've got people to the website. Like, I've got them to fill in the contact me form or whatever. But
it makes no sense though if they're going online to look for a video guy. Do you want to be that video guy either? With these people who are just lazy enough to Google it.
And like, the other point there is that if I was on the internet and I was trying to find a video guy, I'd research some people. I might, like, look at it, and then I'd ask my mates, who do I do? Who does your video work?
Yeah.
And that's how I've got basically all my jobs.
Because it's actually getting to that stage now where the videography is so common that everybody knows somebody. Or everybody knows somebody who knows somebody who does videography.
Yeah.
So the best thing you could probably do is, I suppose, know people. Network.
Yeah.
You know?
And I think that's the point that people miss about internet marketing, is it's more about leveraging the internet to get more people to know you versus to get more people to convert. You know what I mean? Like, even if you get your jobs through, say, your friends, if your friend's friend emails you about a video and he's already seen, say, your YouTube channel or something you did for his mate, he kind of has a feeling like he knows you and he trusts you, and he's like, yeah, he is good, I've seen the stuff. Or if you can get multiple kind of touches on people, like, say someone saw your Instagram and then they saw your YouTube, like, months apart, and then their friend recommends you, then you're in business. You know what I mean? So it's not really about converting people, it's more about just, like, getting out there. Being seen.
So would you say that you would get many gigs from subscribers?
Zero. But then again,
how do you know?
Yeah.
Exactly. Like, how this X person came in contact with me. Like, I know a few things, like I think when you get into this and you build up a certain like portfolio of clients, you could isolate 3 or 4 clients who are your best evangelists, the people who spread you out the most. And I think it's a combination of they're well connected themselves, they're sound, they're always looking out for you, and they have the right friends. They have friends who can afford videos, they have friends who need videos, and they have friends who are willing to do business with you. So
well, on that point, there's circles that move, and if you get in with one person in that circle and they seem to be like a good customer for you, the odds are they hang around with people that are, or they do business with people who are similar to them, who have similar businesses. Like if you get in with the gym, say, they'll have friends who are gym owners and they're going to need videos as well, you know, that kind of way. So it makes sense that they would be your evangelists.
And I think that's one of the most liberating things about it, in that if you are very committed to making the best videos you can make, if you're very committed to investing the money you earn back into the business, obviously taking out what you need from it, be that food, be that rent, be that a holiday every now and again, and you're constantly striving to get better, that A, they're gonna like respect you, but B, you're gonna fall into that bracket.
You're gonna see what you put in.
Yeah, you're gonna find, like, business is gonna, I think that's like a tried and tested thing in business. If you're a good craftsman, whatever your craft is, there will always be business there for you if there's a demand for it. It's the shit people that nobody.
And it's, I think that's a good way to put it, as a craft. Like you're a craftsman, you're a specialized skill. And there's also talk about like AI and robots and stuff making videos. It's like complete nonsense.
For now, at least.
And it's this thing where you can't buy into it. Like you can't buy being good at editing or knowing what a story is.
Yes.
That's just like hours on the
That's exactly
laptop.
it. That's what I love about it too.
That's what it is. You can't fake it. It's like you have to be putting in the work to get good. So that's a beautiful part of it.
And to go back to that point about the AI thing, like that seems to, I think you have to be such an idiot to feel like that is actually going to have an effect on you, because those stories, I personally think those stories just come out because people read them. Like the stories have the same narrative. X technology has come into place, you could lose your job. X technology has come into place, it gets rid of this industry.
It's because people click through fear or rage or both.
Or awe.
Or awe, and those are what generates clicks, and that's what generates advertising revenue. So that's why these companies, or these
I think like AI is real. I think it is going to take a lot of jobs, but I think
it's going to take all the legal jobs. I think
and accounting, like to an extent. Now, obviously, like it's a bit ignorant of me to say accounting, because there is an art aspect to accounting, and that's where you get into like the dark arts of people getting into trouble and stuff. But there's a lot of that kind of stuff that goes on that saves a lot of people a lot of money. So it's not going to do that, because a robot will never know that you don't want to pay your tax on your first whatever X income because you gave it to your daughter's birthday present and there's an Irish grant. Maybe it will, but I don't think it will. But like the most safe sector to be in from an like being safe from AI is the arts, creative. It's, if it ever does fall, it'll be one of the last ones to fall, I reckon.
I think so too.
Like people who drive cars and all that kind of stuff for a living, or freight, whatever they're called, truck drivers, like they're in big trouble.
Big trouble in the next 5-10.
I think we're safe for a while.
Anything to do with transport, I think.
Yeah,
next 5-10
like fucking Elon Musk with the electric trucks and shit, and when they're going to be self-driving. But there's like a separate thought, I guess. But just, I think if you're a person fearful of that technology taking over your job, then you're just a loser in the first place, and you deserve to lose your job.
You know, myself and Jake were actually talking about this on the way over. You were talking about like these old, really experienced videographers getting annoyed about the young guys coming up and taking a drone shot for like £100 and essentially undercutting them. Yeah. And you were comparing that to modern taxi drivers getting annoyed at Uber. Yeah. Because it's the new technology and it's taken over what formerly was.
Like the reality is the market has shifted dramatically. Like 5 years ago you couldn't afford cameras. 5 years ago I didn't have a camera. I didn't know what was going on. And like drones didn't even really exist in the sense that they do today. So all these people were living off a monopoly. Like they were the go-to video guy because no one else could do it. No one else could put that investment forward to get those cameras. But now everyone has an iPhone in their pocket. Like 4K, I think the new one does 240 frames per second. Like
720p though.
The market's changed, you know, so you can now get videos for a lot cheaper. So if you're not willing to be good at videos, why should you get paid? The same way a taxi driver should not be given out on the on the
Joe
Duffy show about Uber wrecking his life. Like Uber wrecked your life. Get a new job. Like, put more work in. Like, I know it seems harsh on the surface of it, but it's not.
Mm-hmm.
It's just a world.
Yeah, because in the grand scheme of things, it's made to serve the consumer at the end of the day. It's made to serve humanity.
We'll take healthcare as an example. I know it's very expensive and all, but the reality of it is it's gotten so much cheaper as time has gone on, to the point where most of us can extend our lives by a number of years. Now, if we hadn't done that, like a lot of people we know would be dead. So it's just an evolution. You know, taxis are going to be cheaper. We're not going to have to drive. There's going to be less accidents. Robots are going to take out. In a way, it's a good thing.
Definitely.
Yeah. And equally, there's like so much opportunity. Like I think the thing that we always forget is like we see that people are going to lose their jobs in a driverless world, but we don't see that like there's other like industries that are going to open up. And it's more. I feel like it's more like as humanity, we're taking the tasks through which. It's like becoming a more efficient human being. Like, say for example, you're earning 10 grand a month from videos, and you say to yourself that you want to specialize into solely the editing, but you pay people to do the video for you. I feel like it's sort of the same process. It's like we feel as if for a human to be manually driving a car is inefficient. Their tools and skill set could be used at a higher level. So we're just like moving stuff up. Does that make sense?
Definitely.
But like the triangle is still going to remain the same. I don't know why I thought of triangle, but like
a similar analogy would be when like desktop computers came in and everybody used to write everything down, and everyone's like, I'm never going to use that computer, or I'm never going to use that iPhone, and now like get over it, everyone has an iPhone. Just move on.
And like
they said the same thing about the radio when it came in first.
Yeah.
They said and they said there's probably the same thing about books.
And TV, books, magazines, newspapers. Suck it.
Yeah. I wonder what's the modern TV, book, radio.
It's the iPhone.
Smartphone.
The
smartphone. Everybody uses smartphones now, though. Really.
Well, how do you mean the modern one? Like what's going to be next? Or
What's the thing currently that everybody's like, oh, that's not going to catch on?
I think it's social media. People are still massively up against social media.
Yeah.
I think people are just not realizing that we've got to take a couple of years to get used to it.
Yeah.
Like it's addictive and shit, and I find myself like thinking, whoa, I'm on this thing too much.
Yeah.
But we have to realize it's only been 10 years or so, if even. Like we're going to get better at not using it, etc. The same way we've gotten better at like, well, we haven't really, so I won't bring that up. But
what were you going to say?
I was like better at like gambling and drinking and stuff. Obviously people are still
becoming more aware of the
but I'm sure when alcohol came out, I'm sure everyone got drunk.
Whoa.
And then X amount of people realized it's not a long-term strategy. I'll stop that. And I think a lot of people are going to stop being addicted to social media because they'll realize I didn't get anything from that eventually. But there's going to be a transition period, which we are currently in the depths of.
Great. I think we're in a really good spot as creatives, as you said earlier, Jake.
For us, it's amazing. Never have we had this opportunity before. Every business has the opportunity to put stuff out and sell off the back of it, like free distribution, compared to back when it was billboards or TV ads for like 50 grand for a 30-second spot.
Yeah.
What's the likelihood of them calling me or Thomas or Fitz to do that video?
Yeah.
But now they can put up a Facebook ad and show it to thousands of people for like 20 quid.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm there.
Definitely.
It's amazing.
Speaking of events, should we all talk about our favourite types of videography gigs, the ones that we most like to do?
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely. My favourite currently is, but these don't pay as well, like promo videos. In certain like circles, I think when it comes to education, people obviously, so in a college context, you want new students to come to UCD. How do you get these students to come to UCD? Normally you have like a prospectus, you have text, and then there's like physical meetings where you invite schools in, they get tours, etc., etc. What if there was a way that you could sort of interact with your students better? You could show them a video. What video are you going to show them? Well, I'd probably like to show them a past pupil who's gone on to do something very successful. I'd probably like to give them a taste of what the school is actually like, looking inside. And I'd also like to sort of list off what my department does and what my role is, so that they can sort of understand how they're going to progress in their career, where they can go, etc., etc. Those videos tend to encompass videoing a couple people, a couple of hours, videoing B-roll, a couple of hours. Then you have to sort of put the audio together, and like that's not bad, like the mixing of the audio and stuff isn't too bad, but it's more like the afterwards that people who are in their schools, because it's their job, want the wording to be a certain way, and they can be very specific with what they want. Whereas something like a promo video for a gym, for example, generally they just give you complete like creative freedom. They just want something cool. And so from a business point of view, from a pure profit point of view, I think it would be like easier if like I completely moved into that industry, but that's not necessarily how it works.
The promo one?
Yeah. But then like the other side of that is, and this is how I feel about it at the moment, I continuously like to try different types of videos, because I'm sure there's ones out there that I haven't tried that I would like. And I'm not above X amount of money to do a video I don't necessarily like, because like at the end of the day I feel like that money is going to be invested back into the business, and there may be some arbitrary point in the future where I can say I don't need to do that anymore. But
I get that. I like
at 20 I'm not at that point yet.
No.
So what videos do you like to make?
I'd agree with you on the artistic freedom
Of just the general promo?
just anything, like even if it's testimonial. Like you do this weird balance of like getting paid to do something, but then like wanting to do it as kind of a hobby or an art form. That's what you said about creative freedom and people asking you to word things specifically, and can you put our logo on screen for 3 or 4 more seconds. And there's one aspect of that is like I don't really like being told to do, but the second part is like I feel like I have a better understanding of that than X person paying me Y euros to do this video, and I genuinely think that the video will get down better if we do the logo for 1 second or 2 seconds versus your 6. And you're trying to help them out, but they're just kind of not into it, or you know, they have their way and they want it, they're paying, fair enough, they should get it how they want.
Yes.
But yeah, so artistic freedom, creative liberty is a big deal. In terms of types of videos, I like videos with like people in a casual setting. So whether that's recording someone's vlog for them or recording a vlog-esque promo video where they're kind of genuine and showing what they really are, as opposed to like something, as you said, kind of fabricated and elusive. That's just doesn't feel right. But then, as you said, I'm not above doing it for money, because maybe that's the money that's going to keep me going to make the next, you know, artistic video. And then where does that lead? It's about just keeping the train rolling.
Equally, I like the challenge in some ways of like making fabricated videos seem unfabricated.
Yeah, of course.
That's like cool. And another side to that, I think, as well, is that sometimes I definitely think it's not black or white that what clients say to you is always wrong. Sometimes they have very valid comments, and it's like, because logos are very like it's something that easily comes to mind, but there's other stuff like they could say this point in the video doesn't quite feel right, and stuff like that happens because you can pump it out at night, because you're busy the next day, and then with hindsight you look back and you're like, oh, I could have changed that, yada yada. But yeah, I think that's
a good point, is like actually not what type of video you want to make, more like what type of client do you want to work with.
True.
And like, so there's these guys I'm working with, and I won't name them, but they own a couple of fitness businesses. And they're like very just open and very like, you do whatever you think is going to make us look coolest and it's going to sell the most stuff. And they're like, we are yours. And they're like the ideal client. And like, they pay me well, and the videos are fun to make, like genuinely, and it's great. Like the only thing I could think about that would make that better is like if I was just making videos about myself. I didn't have to talk to anyone.
But even then, it's just nice to have a subject always. If it's about yourself, you're kind of like, oh well, will people
you know
understand or respect this aspect?
I mean in the respect of like someone saying, hey Jake, do you want to go to Hawaii and make video?
Okay,
like, that's the end game. But like, this is amazing. So I think it's more about like, who's your perfect client? Because I would make any type of video for them. I've made testimonials, and they've been actually really cool testimonials, because they've let me mess around with the words and like put cool clips over it and use emotional music or upbeat music, and it doesn't have that corporate feel, which is important. So I think people are over corporate, aren't they?
Definitely.
At least in the video space.
That's so
you always see like huge businesses these days, especially trying to get involved with like the young kids on Facebook, and it always just, it seems like, you know, something like, just as an example, I don't hate Muju or anything, but say for example Muju put up a status and said something like, why don't you dab your way down to the shop and pick up yourself a dab and Muju? I disagree
with that. I think Avamore are doing a great job.
I know, but not about Muji specifically. It was just an example of how businesses might be kind of trying to fit in with the kids.
Just horrendous.
Sort of thing.
Well, I think that's a better attempt than like Accenture paying someone $3,000 to make like a shit promo video of like a guy who's like a graduate from UCD. You know what I mean? I think that's better than like at least just trying to connect with something.
Yeah.
Or be relevant. Like relevance has to be.
Yeah.
And like I think from a business's point of view, that shows that they're open minded. Because if you turn around to me and you're like, yo, Tom, I'm going to say I run a bank. You're like, Tom, I'm going to do a video about.
I can run a bank.
How students are like they hate the fact that they have loans or something.
Yeah.
I might be like, oh my god, that affects my brand. I don't want that video made.
Yeah.
So I think without getting specific with Avamore, I think if a business is willing to do that, maybe the execution is a bit off, but like the direction is very right.
Yeah. Well, I think it's like on a relative scale, as you said, it's way better than like someone else making a 3 like Accenture. I just name them. I don't care.
Yeah.
Making like a 3-minute promo video about some graduate, and it's just you just want to kill yourself at the end of it. But like the Muji thing is just, and Avamore is just absolutely awful as well. Like it's way better, you're right, but it's just a gross like misunderstanding of like where they could go with it. Like
where do you think they should go?
If they gave that whole thing to you, you'd do a better job.
Well, I disagree with some aspects. Like.
You would do a better job, and for like probably 1/20th the price of whatever agency they're working with.
Yes.
Just because you understand what the crack is. And
let's talk a little bit about agencies.
Yes.
Are they full of shit? Are they good?
I think every single agency ever at one point was amazing. 100%.
Okay.
I don't think you can... Now, I could be wrong about this. Maybe you can be like backed by rich parents, or you're rich, or you have a lucky break. But I think probably all of them, for the benefit of the doubt, did something great, and did probably a lot of things great. And that's how you start.
Yeah.
From there, I think a lot of shit slides downhill pretty quick.
Yeah.
When people start handing you checks for X amount of money to do this, and like the company doesn't have a clue, and you're not doing it, you just hand it off to some video guy or some copywriter, and like, just do this, and the client's like, well, that didn't really work. You just say, well, your product isn't really that good. You need to do a lot more work. So it's this weird relationship where the agency doesn't necessarily have skin in the game.
Yeah.
So that's an interesting point. So you're trying to say that like the agency has limited, because it's like a business and they can only do a certain amount of things. So for argument's sake, let's say they can only post photos. They're limited within that box of photos. So when the photos might work for a bit, but then when they don't work, their go-to is not, you know what, I should learn how to make videos. Their go-to is reflect it back on the customer.
Well, what I'm saying is, to do good work and to make a real difference in a business and sell stuff, it takes a shitload of effort, and effort is time, and when you're running a company that your main resource is people, time is money. So to put in a load of work and do really good stuff and sell products for your client costs you a shit ton of money, and it's not necessarily obvious that you'll make a profit at the end of that, so they just don't put in as much effort. And you guys know, you both make videos, creativity is not on a tap.
No.
You need to sit there. If you're making, you need to sit there for a while, like a couple of days. Like imagine paying someone for just sitting there when you've got a client deadline, and you're like, the manager comes over and just goes, "You just make whatever idea you have now."
Yeah.
And that's often probably what happens.
Yeah.
When,
good point.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I do. I understand your point. I think creativity though, like, is on tap to a certain extent, in the sense that like, I've had, do you know when you have days when like you have a shit ton of videos to make, but then I always say to myself, like, creativity is limitless. So like you can, I think if you're like creative in any way, shape or form, you can always come up with the goods, which is like a very liberating thing. It's not really dealing with Jake's point, but I think that that's one of the beautiful things about it.
That you come up with the goods.
But at the same time, like, so what I'd say to your point is that you could come up with the goods in an hour. That's 65% of what you think you can make, but that's probably a higher standard than what they were thinking of anyway.
Yeah.
Depending on the clients.
Well, let's take Muju for example, because we've already named them, and I don't care.
And well, can we say Avamore? Because it's not just Muju, is it?
No, it is Avamore, but let's take the Muju brand, because it is a separate brand.
Yeah.
Identity, at least.
Definitely.
Yeah.
So what they're doing is being relevant by having people dab and stuff in their ads, and they're like being colourful and playful. I think that's the best thing they've done, is be playful and colourful and cartoony. Because they're obviously aiming for young people and kids, etc. Chocolate milk is tasty and good for you. But what's happened there is just some agency has just been like, we need to, or the company maybe themselves said, we need to do social media. How do we do that? And they look up like 5 things to be on social media: is relevancy, like connect with the youth, and they've just done that without any real consideration for what is in the zeitgeist or what moves people, or they're just.
But then
taking
how can we
boxes.
judge that though, unless we have seen have more sales, which we haven't?
Well, we can't really. We can just judge it on its like what we've seen, the creativity, and if it makes you cringe, it makes other people cringe.
Okay. I personally have not cringed at those things. I thought they were really good.
Positively affected a lot of people too.
Yeah. I personally really like that stuff.
Would you?
Yeah.
I've drank it.
I'm sorry, I know, for like regardless of the drink, which I love. I'm just saying that I think
The
they're doing
branding
like
as well.
I think they're doing a decent job.
Pricing. This is an interesting one.
You okay, Tom?
Yeah, I'm great. Yeah.
Earlier we spoke a little bit about what you want to be trying to charge clients is the upper limit of what they'll pay. So depending on who the client is, you're going to have to take into consideration the amount of money that you think they're going to be able to afford for whatever it is that you're giving to them. You want to get it just so that it's under the limit so that they don't start raising eyebrows. It's kind of the amount that they expect, really, or maybe even slightly more than they expected. But yeah, it can be difficult. It definitely can be difficult, and it's always strange to charge pricing by the hour too afterwards, because they have no way of monitoring how many hours you spend editing.
Yeah. Expectation, I think, is the biggest word there. So how do you develop expectation? Reference experiences from times before, reference experiences from what your friend has said. So if I'm hiring you and my friend has told me you charge X amount of money and you say X plus 5, then I'm like, ugh. Yeah, and I may not necessarily say it to your face that Tom told me you were doing it for X. That's one. I think another one is like, some people don't care to a certain extent because they're not the decision maker. So if you're a marketing, if you work within a department and UCD is the person who foots the bill, then it's more important that your sort of thing is done well and you're sort of willing to pay whatever it costs. Then again, obviously some things have budgets. So for example, if you have an event, they have a certain amount of money that they're going to put aside for media, and then you're going to fill that gap, whatever that is. So I think expectation is massively key with pricing, and it dictates what you can charge someone.
I think it comes back down to that thing about like not what's your ideal job or anything. It's like what's your ideal client.
Yes.
The type of clients like are going to vary, and with that the price that you can charge is going to vary because different companies make more or less money than each other. So like you can't get bent out of shape trying to charge a company more money when they don't necessarily have the money or don't see the value of your products. You just need to go to people who have got more money if you want to charge more money.
Question is, how do you get to people with more money?
I think
one way of getting to it is that, so I had all of 2017 I had a rate of like between one and 300 euros for pretty much all my videos, with a couple exceptions. There was a couple of big budget things. Then at the end of this summer ish, at the end of this summer I was like, I'm going to double it to try and get into new circles. So if I'm charging X amounts, then you're going to find players who can like will pay that, and that ultimately ended up working. Now ultimately though, I don't think that means that like boom, so I bump it up twice again.
No,
not necessarily.
Would you say you got twice as good though? Probably you improved drastically.
No, I don't agree with that. I don't think I've gotten twice as good. But what I think was that I was just always getting better, and there was a point at which I was like, fuck this, I can't be charging this amount for what I'm producing.
Yeah.
So I think it's hard to quantify. I know you're not saying, did you know?
No, but I think from an outside point of view, I think you got better.
Okay,
to the point where you should be charging more. So there was probably a correlation there with, like, you probably intuitively felt it. And you were like, no, my videos are better than this.
And a combination of buying more gear.
Yeah, which adds more value to your production, which 100%. Should increase the price.
Yeah.
Absolutely. How do you get to people with more money? It's a great question. I guess it's back to that thing we said earlier about people hanging around with the same kind of people. They're in business with them, they're acquaintances with them.
Commerce is a really good course to be in, I think.
Yeah, 100%. But like whether or not I want to do it, later on is another question. Like I've been in events is an interesting one for me, because when you're at an event, you'll meet a photographer, you'll meet people at the sound desk, and you might meet another videographer, and inevitably at some point you're going to chat with them about, you know, oh, you've got this like electrical transmitter on your camera that sends photos to your phone, that's so cool. And then at some point you delve into, what do you do in college, how long have you been taking photographs for? And when I meet like middle-aged men, they always tell me that I should get a job in a company and like use videos as leverage to get a good job, because they feel like that there's a cap to the amount that you can make, and B, the amount of business you can get. And so I don't have a feel like I don't want to go into a big speech about whether or not they're right or wrong, because I don't know. But I think it's interesting. Is it that these people didn't like work enough, or didn't push things enough, and like didn't use their skills to innovate into new industries where they could make more money? Or is it genuinely a case of that it's cool when you're students? I know you're not a student anymore, but like it's
I'm a student of life.
Brilliant.
As am I. I graduated a month ago.
Okay, good point. But like, I'm wondering, is this, in the nicest way possible, is this all like, not a fad, but like that crosses my mind the odd time.
Yeah, I get what you're saying. Like, you think there's a cap and stuff.
Is that, like, I personally,
There sure is, if you're going to say there is.
that is, yes, I think that's, for me, that's the hit home point.
Yeah.
If you say there's a cap, there's always going to be a cap.
I think those guys you're talking about, those older guys you see with the cameras, and like they've often invested heavily in this one really big heavy camera that they now have to stick on a tripod, and they're glued to it, and like they're everything I don't ever want to become. And I don't want to hear any of their excuses.
Bullshit, yeah.
Because like I picked up a camera for the first time like a year and a half ago. What's your excuse?
Yeah.
I don't think there's a cap either. I think if you're not going to get better, and maybe people just don't get better for whatever reason, they don't have the capabilities, I don't know, I don't really believe in that either. But if they don't get better, yeah, there's a cap. If you don't branch out, yeah, there's a cap. If you're not smart about it, yeah, there's a cap. If you don't position yourself as a premium videographer, that you make fucking amazing videos where you're going to sell shit from this video, because that's the end game, then yeah, there's a cap. But if you tell someone, I will get you this many people interested in your product, and they will all message you on Facebook, how much money would you make? And they'll be like, well, probably 10% of them will buy, so I'll make a couple of grand. And you're like, and you're paying me a quarter of that, does that make sense for your business? And they'll be like, yeah, it does. And you'd be like, yeah, here's my bank details. You know what I mean? So yeah, if you're not willing to have those conversations, and you just want to go stand at the back of an event hall for a college, yeah, there's a cap for that. There's a cap for being an amateur soccer player as well. You just gotta like train.
Put in more hours of training.
Yeah. And like, to that point, like the industry has exploded. Like, the cap has been blown off, if anything. Like, never has more brands wanted stuff before. Never have brands had a bigger marketing budget to spend on this kind of thing, because they've got all this leftover cash from TV and bus stops and billboards and then that's not to mention like what could possibly happen if something clicks on YouTube or Instagram, or it's obviously a long shot, but if one of your videos hits some thing on the zeitgeist where you get a few million views, like you're done. You are done. You will never send another sales email again for the rest of your life, and you'll make a lot of money.
That'd be very interesting. Like, imagine that happened tomorrow. Would I like drop out, or like would you like move to?
Would you drop out if you got an email tomorrow from Nike who said they wanted you to be their new head of video? Or let's say the North Face. You like the North Face?
No, I like Nike. I'm wearing fucking Air Jordans.
Let's go. That's way cooler.
Let's go for Nike.
Not even head of video. Let's say Nike call you tomorrow, and
creative director.
They're not paying you. Okay, you're not getting any money. They have a budget of 25,000 euros. Okay,
a week.
It's a shoot in Iceland. The whole video is 25 grand.
Okay.
They have secured 2 or 3 people who are high profile, and they've seen your YouTube videos, and they want you to do something.
And the catch is, it's for a week, but it's the same week as your exams this year.
Yeah.
You go.
What do you do?
Oh my god.
That's the only week they can do.
I go straight to my doctor to get extenuating circumstances.
Yeah.
Resourceful.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, like, you gotta weigh you gotta weigh shit up, like.
Gone.
Do I have to answer this question? Let's see.
Yeah, you do.
It's also contextual.
I wouldn't even pack a bag. I'd get in the first taxi I saw at the airport. I'd go into the camera shop in the airport and just go, give me that one. I'd be gone, like.
What's your biggest camera?
Yeah.
That's so funny.
25 grand, is that a reasonable budget for a week?
But like,
in Iceland?
guys, I don't
Probably
you,
very small.
you
Yeah,
basically
yeah.
described what Casey Neistat did with Nike. He had a budget of 25 grand to go do shit.
Yeah.
And he went around the world and did shit.
Yeah.
Granted, though, he was like a rich man already.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay, cool.
But like for you or me or Fitz, I
Yeah.
think if you can't answer that question, like you've got some more questions to ask yourself.
But you were talking about would you drop out if you got an email, you know, in that sort of
Like, okay,
area
that's
tomorrow?
what if you make a video today and about this or whatever it is, and something clicks, and you get 4 million views, and as subsequently you get 300,000 subscribers for absolutely no reason, and you just get emails from Irish brands tomorrow who picked up on this, like whoever they are,
Super Value,
Fulfill,
fucking-
Super
yeah.
Value, Muju, and they all want to pay you a couple of €1,000 each to do videos for them, or even just to be in your YouTube channel. Like that, I don't even have to put a question mark at the end of that. We all know what's going to happen.
You're gonna do it.
Goodbye college, goodbye everything else. Here we go.
And like, I think one of the reasons why, so like, what would be a counter argument to what Jake said? But Jake, I have a girlfriend. I have like, you know, sorry, this is a shit example. You know, I have really good friends. I'm having a good time here in UCD. I'm making a lot more money than a normal student. So why would I be arsed to do that? But what I think the point there is, like, when you think about it for a second, there is so much to life that we just don't know exists. You'd never know when you were 5 years old the stuff you could get up to when you're older.
Yeah.
In the same way, going on a journey like that and potentially making like 200k in a year, going to like fucking 20 different countries, 30 different countries, all of a sudden you're in whole new peer groups. Maybe you're going to colleges telling people what you can do for making videos. Maybe you have an even better girlfriend. And sorry, that's
Not possible.
Not possible. Stop. But you know what I mean? Like, I think it goes back to success barriers. And like,
That's exactly it. I mean,
Your
the
comfort
200k a year might not necessarily make you happy.
that's an arbitrary number though as well.
It is an
Well, yeah.
arbitrary
Well,
number
look,
as well.
even if you got 200k a year to make events videos from the back of the hall, would you be happy?
No.
No,
So
I
it's
wouldn't
not-
go for that.
That's not the point, like, you know what I mean? Those
Yeah.
guys are limiting themselves. It's that thing I said to you about the drones earlier. I'm in this group on Facebook, I won't name it, but they were all having a go at young people with drones, and they were like, we spend so much money on X equipment
Shut the
and
fuck up.
years experience, and at the end of the day a college kid can charge €100 with the drone.
Yeah. And
It's
he
like,
can.
yes, and he's going to come up with better things to do with his drone because he's not worried about all the other bullshit that you have to fill out on your stupid forms. Like, this is innovation. Get over it. Like, the guy who made Fire didn't have a checklist beforehand. You know what I mean? Like, just move. Yeah?
get shit done.
So if you want to stand at the back of the hall, go stand there.
So that was it, guys. I hope you enjoyed the first proper podcast with myself, Michael, and Fitz. That makes no sense. Myself, Michael, and Jake. I think the improvements that could be made is that we could get I'm going to get a second camera angle for the next podcast. I think I'm going to film it slightly better. I want to pick a better setting, and I'm going to put a time limit to it. So instead of being whatever it was, 40 minutes, I'll probably limit it to 30, and I'll either answer questions that you guys have in the comments or just general stuff that we want to talk about. For the moment, I'm going to be posting these on my YouTube channel because there's an audience there already, and it's a good way to test out and see how people feel about it. I may move it to a different platform in the future. I don't know. We're just going to test things out and see how it goes. If you guys enjoyed the video, give it a thumbs up. Other than that, I will see you Sunday at 8:30 p.m. Peace. You don't have to move to the camera.
Boy, better treat me with respect. Keep a gold chain on my neck, fly as a jet. Boy, better treat me with respect. Keep a gold chain on my neck, fly as a jet. Boy, better treat me with respect. Keep a gold chain on my neck, fly as a jet.